and welcome back to my blog. We finished some serious stuff, so I'm going to read a little humor. This is from an encyclopedia of modern American humor, edited by Bennett Cerf. It's not really modern, it's an old book. And this is by Will Rogers. It's called Taking the Cure by the Shores of Cat Creek. And I just kind of stumbled into this, but there's kind of a reason that I decided to go with it. I might elaborate. Now, in my more or less checkered career, before the more or less checkered public, I have been asked to publicly endorse everything from chewing gum, face beautifiers, patent cocktail shakers, ma junk sets, even corsets, cigarettes, and chewing tobacco, all of which I didn't use or know anything about. But I always refused. You never heard me boosting for anything, for I never saw anything made that the fellow across the street didn't make something just as good. But at last I have found something that I absolutely know no one else has something just as good as, for an all-seeing nature put this where it is, and it's the only one he had. And by a coincidence, it is located in the town near the ranch where I was born and raised. So I hereby and hereon come out unequivocally, I think that's the way you spell it, in favor of a place that has the water that I know will cure you. You might ask, cure me of what? Why, cure you of anything. Just name your disease and dive in. Claremore, Oklahoma, is the birthplace of this Aladdin of health waters. Some misguided soul named it radium water, but radium will never see the day that it is worth mentioning in the same breath as this magic water. Why, to the afflicted and to all suffering humanity, a jug of this water is worth a wheelbarrow full of radium. Still, even under the handicap of a cheap name, this liquid godsend has really cured thousands. Now you may say, oh, you boost it because you live there. But I don't want you to think so little of me that you would think I would misguide a sick person just for the monetary gain to my hometown. We don't need you that bad. The city is on a self-supporting basis without patience. Just by shipping the water to Hot Springs, Arkansas, Hot Springs, Virginia, West Baden, Indiana, and Saratoga, New York. Now, as to a few of the ignorant who might still be in the dark as to where the home of this fountain of youth is located, I will tell you. I shouldn't waste my time on such lowbrows, but unfortunately they get sick and need assistance, the same as the 95 million others who already know where Claremore is located. It is located, this Mecca of the ill, about 1,700 miles west of New York, either city or state, depends on whichever one you happen to be in. You bear a little south of west after leaving New York till you reach Saul McClellan's place, which is just on the outskirts of Claremore. Before you get into the city proper, if you remember about 500 miles back, you passed another town. Well, that was St. Louis, most of which is in Illinois. Now, if you're in the north and happen to get something the matter with you, we are 847.5 miles south by west from Gary, Indiana. We have cured hundreds of people from Chicago, Illinois, from gunshot wounds inflicted in attempted murders and robberies. There is only one way to avoid being robbed of anything in Chicago, and that is not to have anything. If you are from Minneapolis, our radium water guarantees to cure you of everything but your Swedish accent. If you are from St. Paul, we can cure you of everything but your ingrown hatred for Minneapolis. I will admit that these waters have quite a peculiar odor, as they have a proportion of sulfur and other unknown ingredients, but visitors from Kansas City who are used to a stockyard breeze take this wonderful water home as a perfume. Approaching this city from the north, don't get it confused with Ulaga, Oklahoma, my original birthplace, which is 12 miles to the north, as both towns have post offices. From the west, if you are afflicted, and you are sure to be, or you wouldn't have gone out there, why, Claremore is just 1,900 miles due east of Mojave, California. One of the few towns which Los Angeles has not voted into their cafeteria. You come east till you reach an oil station at a road crossing. This oil station is run by a man named St. Clair. You will see a lot of men pitching horseshoes. Well, that is the post office of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the men are millionaires pitching horseshoes for oil wells or for each other's wives. You should, by this description, have the place pretty well located in your minds. Now, if you are living in the South and are afflicted with a cotton crop under a Republican administration, or with the Ku Klux, or with the hookworm, we guarantee to rid you of either or all of these in a course of 24 baths. Claremore is located just 905 miles north of Senator Pat Harrison's mint bed in Mississippi. In coming from the Gulf country, some have got off the road and had to pass through Dallas, Texas, but have found out their mistake and got back on the main road at Fort Worth before losing all they had. You easily can tell Fort Worth. A fellow will be standing down in front of the drugstore making a speech. Now, before reaching Claremore, you will pass, even though it's in the middle of the day, a place where you think it's night, and you won't know what is the matter. Well, that's Muskogee, Oklahoma, and this darkness is caused by the color scheme of the population. So put on your headlights and go in. This Muskogee is really a parking space for cars entering Claremore. Of course, if you want to drive on into the town of Claremore proper, it's only 60 miles through the suburbs from here. The city is located on Cat Creek, and instead of having a lot of streets like most towns and cities, we have combined on one street. In that way, no street is overlooked. You might wonder how we discovered this Blarney Stone of Waters. In the early days, us old-timers there always considered these wells more as an odor than as a cure. But one day a man come in there who had been raised in Kansas, and he had heard in a roundabout way of people bathing, although he had never taken one, so by mistake he got into this radium water. He was a one-armed man. He had lost an arm in a rush to get into a Chautauqua tent in Kansas to hear Brian speak on man versus monkey. Well, he tried this bath and it didn't kill him, and he noticed that he was beginning to sprout a new arm where he had lost the old one. So he kept on with the baths, and it's to him that we owe the discovery of this wonderful curative water. Also, he was the pioneer of bathers of Kansas, as now they tell me it's no uncommon thing to have a tub in most of their larger towns. Now, it has been discovered that you can carry a thing too far and overdo it, so we don't want you there too long. A man come there once entirely legless and stayed a week too long and went away a centipede. I want to offer here my personal testimonial of what it did to me. You see, after this Kansas guy started it, why us old-timers moved our bathing from the river into a tub. Now, at that time, I was practically tongue-tied and couldn't speak out in private, much less in public. Well, after 12 baths, I was able to go to New York and make after-dinner speeches. I stopped in Washington on the way and saw how our government was run, and that gave me something funny to speak about. So in thanking the water, I also want to thank the government for making the whole thing possible. Now, had I taken 24 baths, I would have been a politician, so you see, I stopped just in time. The only thing I get out of this is I have the thrown-away crutch privilege. If you don't get well and throw away your invalid chair or crutches, I get nothing out of it, so that is why we give you a square deal. If you are not cured, I don't get your crutches. There is no other resort in the world that works on that small a margin. W.J. Bryan drank one drink of this water and turned against liquor. Senator La Follette drank 2 drinks of it and turned against everything. So remember Claremore, the Carlsbad of America, where the Frisco Railroad crosses the Iron Mountain Railroad, not often, but every few days. And that was a little Will Rogers about taking the cures by the shores of Cat Creek. Make it a great day, and bye for now.